breakout room. In this part of today's webinar, I'll be presenting a presentation named Smart EPC project, how to plan it. So practically, we will present to you the developments and deliverables that are being that have been result of a Smart EPC project. We will show you a bit of one case study from Croatia, Karlovac. So in short, we'll try to give you an overview of what has been done in the Karlovac. And then later on, Margarita from ESCON will show you and present you the case study of EPC project in town of Murcia. We'll finish it all off with the last 10-15 minutes of Q&A, so be patient. If you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat room or leave it for the last end of the session, and where we will, of course, talk if you raise hands. So to start on, just a second. Yeah, no, what happened? Okay, so as I said and have mentioned earlier in the presentation, a Smart EPC project is trying to do a follow-up on EPC concept. So we are trying to practically answer the question, can a standard EPC project be enhanced with adding some other energy and non-energy services and revenues in order to make an EPC concept even more attractive to local authorities. In the end, Smart EPC project is trying to develop this Smart EPC concept, and what does it stand for, and what does it mean, and what does it include? A Smart EPC concept in general should include a standardized documentation based on turnkey solutions. What does that mean? That means that practically all the contracts and all the documentation should be quite easily to implement. It should be turnkey solutions. It should be self-financed from energy savings. Again, those EPC services should be integrated with smart city applications, and all based on pay-for-performance schemes, which are based then, again, on real-time data. When we are talking about Smart EPC concept, we have tried to develop a concept more as a guide and guidance to execute your EPC projects. So for all interested parties, all interested municipalities, ministries, or local authorities, Smart EPC concept is practically developed for you in order to help you prepare, develop, and procure your EPC project based on standardized Smart EPC contract and tender documentations. When we are talking about Smart EPC concept, practically this concept is divided into two parts. First is Smart EPC tools, which are developed under Smart EPC project, and they include standardized template for detailed energy audits. They include Excel tools for calculating energy savings, and practically the draft of an action plan, or let's say a pre-feasibility study. So these are tools that you use to prepare your Smart EPC project, or practically to decide whether you will go ahead with your EPC project. Standardized EPC tender and contract documentation, which is also the second part of Smart EPC concept, represents documentations that you will need to procure your Smart EPC project. So when you use the tools and prepare your Smart EPC project, if you get wider support amongst your local authorities, whether it's city council or general public, and you decide to go further to procure your projects, standardized Smart EPC tender and contract documentation will help you go through your standard public procurement route. So these are all standardized documents, which then help not just you to prepare and tender your projects, but help ESCO companies prepare bids on terms of generally unified contract documentation. So we have included best practices and try to make this contract and then the documentation as general as it can be and quite easily, I would say quite easily used and amended and also known to ESCO companies. So to further help public sector clients develop and procure Smart EPC project, we have developed a Smart EPC handbook, training materials and events, and of course, a standardized EPC contract and tender documentation. All of this can be found on Smart EPC web pages, which are practically included, which you can find on Energy Cities web page. So there's a link that will direct you to the Smart EPC projects web page where you can find all of these deliverables. So Smart EPC handbook practically provides an introduction and guidelines into Smart EPC concept. It will give you an introduction in energy efficiency measures in public lighting infrastructure. What can you do in equipment that you can implement and install in your public lighting infrastructure? What type of financing models are out there on the market which you can use, and practically will help you further guide you through the use of standardized Smart EPC concept tools and documentations. Training materials, and this is part of this training activity that we are presenting under Smart EPC project. So we have developed these training materials, the slides you see and that we are presenting today, and events in order to help and introduce Smart EPC to cities, facilitators, and ESCOs. So all of these training materials together with handbooks is to help clients, potential facilitators use Smart EPC and try to develop and plan their Smart EPC projects. Of course, standardized EPC contract and then the documentations are also available on these web pages, and these documents are practically free for download. You can download them, use them at your own or with help of your facilitators or energy consultants. Anyways, you have extensive and quite detailed documents that you can quite easily download and use for procurement of your Smart EPC projects. Graphically, all of these deliverables look like this, or let's say a flow chart, how you should be reading them. To start off with with fact sheets. Of course, these are just the key facts on EPCs, on all the services that are included in Smart EPC, which are then included in the handbook, which is practically comprehensive document that includes all the main deliverables or all the main conclusions from the case studies, from the market assessment report, from ICT output specifications. All of these separate deliverables are practically to help you and to describe in more details what is later on being developed as a functional requirement in, let's say, in standard EPC projects. So there's a quite detailed and a lot of, I would say, reading material for anyone that is interested in to get familiar with equipment, with these services, what's up to date on the market, and what are the case studies and best examples of implementation of all of these services on the market today. To go on further on to Smart EPC concept and Smart EPC standardized documentations, as we said earlier, we have divided this concept into two parts. First are the tools to help you prepare your projects. The second one are standard EPC documentation to help you procure the projects. So first off, we have developed under Smart EPC project a standardized methodology, and this methodology is practically used to collect all necessary data about the public lighting system, which is then needed to perform technical and financial analysis. So in essence, these are the templates which tell you what is the minimum of details of data you would need to have of your public lighting infrastructure in order to go further on to procure your EPC project, or in order to go and further on try to do any feasibility assessment on what energy efficiency measures would result in. So it's a standardized set of data that enables easy comparison amongst different projects. It will help ESCO companies quite easily calculate what are potential energy savings and what can they do and what can they offer you in tender proceedings. They prescribe also a minimum levels of detailed data that needs to be collected in order for you to prepare your smart EPC project. The second tool is the analytic tool for data analysis, and practically that's an Excel table. It's in the form of Excel table, and it helps clients to analyze easily feasibility of the project. It's not complex tool, and it's, I would say, quite simplistic way of calculating whether there is potential in the scope of the project that you have decided to do, whether those reconstructions or replacements of that luminaires will result in enough energy savings for them to be repaid for them to repay energy efficiency measures that you need to provide. So you will quite easily and in few steps see whether your project is financially feasible or not. Of course, energy savings will vary depending not only on changing source of lighting of lamps or LED technology, but on the management of public lighting infrastructure. So even though most of the savings you will get from changing sodium to LED technology in the lamps, additional savings can be gathered through dimming regimes of your public lighting infrastructure of lamps, automatic dimming, and etc. So practically through management of your existing public lighting infrastructure, you can get additional savings, not just from the change of technology. Action plan draft is practically the third element of smart EPC concept tools, and in essence, it's quite easily just a draft of an action plan, which is a document that will help you show your decision makers how do you plan to realize your project. In essence, a draft of an action plan is to help clients structure you structure your project program and present it to municipality councils or to general public. It will present the answers to what is the problem and what is the solution to the problem, what is the purpose and goal of this project that you are developing, and what are the restrictions in your project realization and how to solve them. In essence, you will be presenting in the action plan draft financing options for realization of your project, and you will practically present what is the optimal financial model for realization of your project, and you will practically argue why have you decided to go the procurement route that you have decided for your own project. Action plan should be, as I said, presented to decision makers and should be adopted by your city councils or your municipality councils or any political body that's needed to ensure political will and determination for project realization. Of course, we always argue that this is quite, I would say, important in project realization, or is a key success factor in any project management, to get a wider political support, so that in cases where there's political change or something or some other disturbance during project life cycle, that you wouldn't have problem with your project. It should gain wider political support and wider general support from general public. That's how you will practically ensure that your project will be realized no matter what happens in the political arena. Moving on forward to smart EPC contract documentation. So if you use your tools to practically develop and prepare your project, and you have come to the decision part of your project, and you have decided to go smart EPC way, you come to the period in project where you need to develop your procurement documentation. And this is what this part of Smart EPC contract documentation is practically developed for. So we have developed Smart EPC contract documentation and tender documentation. I'm not sure, I'm having some problem with my presentation. Just a second. Yeah. I'm not sure if you hear me. Irene,
Yes.
yeah, you can hear me.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
but
can see your slide.
yeah,
We are in step 4, how to plan an EPC project.
yeah, but for some reason I have problem with.
Stop sharing and
Yeah, I'll
share
try to
it.
stop sharing just to see. Sorry for this. I'm having problem with my presentation. Yeah.
No problem.
Can you maybe grant Milka right to share? Milka, you have the right to share.
Yes,
And you have the presentation, so you can maybe open the presentations.
okay.
Yeah. Sorry for this. My computer, my laptop
Okay.
just started to. Yeah.
Okay, yes, we
Yeah,
can see
you can
it.
see it. So just to go to the. To see where we at 20, page 27, step 4. So we are here. Oh,
Okay,
okay. Can we go to view? Hide view sites, translate just a second. Okay, yeah. Okay. Moving on. So first off, Smart EPC contract documentation. Yeah, you can see it right now. It's going. Everything is okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, for me, yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So in essence, standard EPC contract documentation is a general concept that is detailed and extensive, so it can be easily tailored to client requirements and needs. So in essence, in Smart EPC project, we have tried to develop a detailed contract documentation with with contract clauses, trying to include all of the situation on all of the services, so the client can quite easily cut off the parts that it doesn't need. So it is quite detailed, it is quite extensive, but it should make this documentation then more flexible or more easy to tailor it to your own specific needs. Cities can adopt and amend this documentation to their own needs and national legislation frameworks. And the conclusions on what to do or what not to do with your contract documentation should be drawn following stakeholder workshops. So this is something we always argue and try to say to our clients, is that when you prepare your Smart EPC, any type of project, not just EPC, Smart EPC project, you need to market test your assumptions. So during preparation of your project, you have assumed something based on your knowledge, based on your wishes, based on the restrictions as you see them. And before you draft your tender and contract documentation, you should test those assumptions on the market. So always do stakeholder workshops and market consultations before you enter the development of EPC, standard EPC contract documentation and then the documentation. So you can do your general draft of this documentation and try to test them to get the feedbacks from the market in order to see what's feasible, what's not. General concept of the project is structured so that there are 3 different types of investments under one contract. So we talked about EPC, and EPC is including energy efficiency measures, which then provide energy savings. So this is one type of investment, energy efficiency measures. The other types of investments are investments in non-energy and non-commercial services, such as, let's say, smart city applications, whether it's sensors, CCTV cameras, or something like that. And the third investments are investments in an energy or non-energy commercial services, such as e-charging or 5G concessions. And why is that? Why have they decided to go with this approach. This is due to the fact that different, just a second. Yeah. This is due to, yeah. Okay, it's not going.
Yeah, we can see you twice.
Yeah, it's not
Hear you
good.
twice, sorry.
This is due to the fact that different investments will have different accounting treatments from the Eurostat. So if investments are practically financed from commercialization of those services on the market, they will be off balance sheet. If they're financed through energy savings, they can be treated as an off balance sheet treatment. And of course, if they have been then again paid in from other savings, such as maintenance savings from public sector client, then the other non-energy and non-commercial services will be on balance sheet of the public sector client. So these different types of accounting treatments is the reason why we have these different three types of investments defined under one single contract. In Smart EPC concept, the management of public lighting system is left entirely on the authority, on the city. In our case, in our experience, it's always this was always the concern of public sector clients. If they will give an EPC type of contract to private sector company, to the ESCO company, who will manage this public lighting infrastructure, and what will happen if the lights are not do not provide enough power and enough illumination on public services. This is the reason why the management of public lighting infrastructure is left to the authority side, but ESCO company is guaranteeing for energy efficiency in a such way that it is providing and guaranteeing output of illumination out of the lamps under specific consumption of energy. And in such way, it is practically guaranteeing that there will be energy efficiency, that these measures will result in energy efficiency and energy savings for the public sector client. Yeah, just to see. Step-by-step approach. So how do we practically go forward from the project preparation stage? First off, you need to define your project scope. So use the analytic tool and market consultations to define the scope of your project, and in order for that scope and your project to be feasible. Define what part of the city lighting system is included in the project. Define the points of responsibility between city and client, whether it will be just the change of luminaires or the ESCO company should change luminaires, cables, and poles, or whatever. Define what services you will procure, whether there are only energy services or there will be other non-energy services, and define what services are commercial. So define whether you will have commercial services in your project. So that would be step one in development of your Smart EPC project. Step two, when you have defined the scope of your project, use practically Annex 3 of standardized contract documentation, which is called technical requirements, to define your outputs or your functional requirements that you will require in your project. So define outputs, not technical input, not technical inputs. Define what kinds of services you would like to be provided with. So define the quality of the services and not the technical specifications of equipment to be used. Okay, so try to think in defining functional requirements, not technical requirements. Define on how you will monitor and progress fulfillment of your contract. So define whether you will have monthly, quarterly, or yearly inspections on whether the savings have been achieved and whether the quality of the services is up to agreed standard. When you have drafted your project scope and you have defined your functional requirements, and this is practically the project brief of your project, then go to standard EPC contract draft and amend it to your own needs. So define the deadlines for project phases, define the risk allocation, so define who is responsible for what in the project, define the rights and obligations for each party, and especially define the payment mechanism. So define if there will be penalties, how you will apply it, so who is responsible for what, how you will pay your ESCO company, and how will ESCO company guarantee you for the services that they have provided. Define, especially what's kind of important, define the situations that lead to contract termination, and ways to calculate the termination fee. So always know what will be the cost of terminating contract fee during the lifetime of this project. This is quite important because sometimes if you can ahead calculate what is the termination fee, you will find yourself in a situation that this will be destimulating for the side that is trying to threaten the other side with terminating the contract fee. If you know how expensive it is to leave the contract, that in my case and in my experience, in our experience, it can help you to keep the contract sides trying to work on amending their disputes. In contract documentation, we have developed also another one of the annex, and you can find this also in the standardized contract documentation annex called value of investment. It's quite specific and quite important in this whole standardized Smart EPC contract documentation, because it practically specifies the cost structure of the project as well as the structure for the finance. In essence, out of this value of investment, and these are practically cost specifications of your project, you will see the value of your EPC fee, or the fee payable to your ESCO company, and you can calculate the level of that fee, and you can calculate whether that fee can cover your energy savings, can cover your ESCO fee that is payable to ESCO company. So it's quite an important part of a project, and in this case, it is, as you can see on this slide, practically just a breakdown of project costs from capital costs, so the cost endured in the implementation of energy efficiency measures, to costs in operation phase. All of these costs are put then of course, into timeline. So they are practically, they have been put in this table in the year as they are incurred by ESCO company, and we use this cost structure in the case contract needs to be terminated, in order to clearly and quite simply define the termination fee. So you will see how many of costs have been procured in 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th years, or 8th year of a project. So this cost calculation practically provides us with a proof that ESCO fee is structured in a good and reasonable way, and it provides us with a starting point for calculation of any additional fees, termination fees, or any disputes that might rise out of additional cost incurred during the project. So be aware of that. Tender draft, standardized tender draft is also something that's being developed under this Smart EPC, but it's being developed under general, I would say, more of a guidelines for you for interested parties to develop their tender documentation. So use it to practically structure and tailor your, in most cases, this will be public procurement documentation. So as you are aware of, throughout European Union, we should have the similar or same public procurement acts, but there are some maybe small differences amongst different countries. So practically use this tender documentation, use the guidelines and instructions that we have practically provided you with in order to quite easily then draft your tender documents and publicly and procure your project using public procurement. Just a second. Yeah. Also on the Smart EPC project, you can use Smart EPC case studies. These case studies are practically to help you see how other municipalities, other clients have used either parts of services or have used the whole Smart EPC concept in order to prepare their projects. So these case studies are to, let's say, ease you and get you familiar with this in real life situation with Smart EPCs and EPC case studies in real life situations. So feel free to download these case studies, use them in order to see what's being done. I will use a minute of your time to try to show you a case study that's a Smart EPC case study that we have tested and piloted in Croatia, in city of Karlovac. So I will ask you for your attention for the next minute or two, just to have you see this presentation of this pilot project in Croatia. Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure. Do we have a sound? No?
No, Josip, we can't see if you're sharing a video or
Yeah, but the sound, I
no.
don't know.
No.
The sound blocked it.
Okay.
Yeah. I can
Yeah.
see that we can click on the link in the slide, so I will just copy paste maybe here.
Can you maybe?
Yeah, I'm trying. Copy. No.
No, well, anyways, okay,
Yeah, we can share the slides later with participants. Also, we have another case study to present with
Yeah.
Margherita, so we can go
Yeah,
on maybe
okay,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Just to go back to this camera here. Yeah. Okay. So in essence, we have tried to show you a video of Smart EPC pilot case study that's being piloted in city of Karlovac, and just a few infos before I give word to Margarita. So in city of Karlovac, we have tried to test this Smart EPC concept, and this project included the replacement of more than 9,000 luminaires. It also included monitoring and management of every luminaire, so practically management system that is managing a luminaire per luminaire, so based on cases of every luminaire. We have included communications and central management system. Project also included public lighting cabinets relocation and reconstruction. It included implementation of sensor-ready luminaires and possibility for implementation of e-charging services on predefined posts. This project in total had a capital cost of around 3 million euros with 0.76 million euros of OPEX costs, of yearly OPEX costs, of general OPEX costs over 10 years contract period, and has resulted in an ESCO company being tendering for the fee of APC fee of 0.68, so 680,000 euros per year costs. So this is the cost of EPC fee, and it is resulting in 760,000 euros of energy savings. So you see, all of the fee is practically repayable from the savings. There's even additional savings that can be used to implement other services. So in this project, we have used, of course, LoRaWAN network and communications. So we can use these protocols and communications for communicating with every single luminaire. Verso Ultima is the ESCO service, ESCO company that has provided this service. It has developed its own practically software that's being used for management and monitoring of all of these luminaires, so all of this public lighting infrastructure on a 24/7 basis. So we know when every luminary is working or not working. We know whether it is providing energy service or not. This is how it looks like. From those software reports are automatically generated, giving you an overview of the quality of service being provided to public sector clients over the last month, which then represents a basis for payment of ESCO fee. So for EPC fee, ESCO company, this software needs to provide a report, and if everything is right, everything is in accordance with the contract, then the fee is payable in full. If something is wrong, then the fee is reduced further. E-charging service, just a few sentences before I give the word to Margareta, is that we have here tried to test an e-charging service, and since the market is still quite undeveloped in Croatia, we didn't set this as a requirement for an ESCO company. We have just given them the right and possibility that during the project lifetime, and we are talking now for the next 10 years, because this is a project lifespan of this EPC project, an EPC company or ESCO company can practically provide e-charging service if there will be a demand for it on the market. So they're now at the process of testing it on the market. They're testing the interest of citizens for these e-charging services, and they will decide upon that whether they will use this right to install e-chargers on several smart or several city lighting infrastructure poles. So we have successfully tested this Smart EPC concept. You can find all of these documents on Smart EPC project webpage, which is on the webpage, which is pages under Energy Cities webpage. So I instruct you for all of you that want to have a bit more information, want to go into more details of these documents, try to visit our pages and contact us freely in the future. That's all for me for now. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yes, we will have a Q&A later in the main room with the others. Thank you so much for this presentation. I will just rush and give the floor to Margarita Puente from ESCAN, which is a Spanish consultancy company that offers technical, economic, and financial advice on energy planning, energy efficiency, and smart grids. So Margarita, feel free to share your slides, or I can share the slides if you can't.
Yes, I prefer you because I have also a lot of problems with this.
Okay.
It seems that I am in 3 meetings at the same time.
So okay, yeah,
but
sorry
I can
for that.
No problem, no problem. I
Okay,
prefer you share my
okay, I will share. Yes.
Okay, so one of the countries that is participating in the Smart EPC is Spain. There are 2 cities. One of them is Murcia, and another one is Rivas. Today I'm going to present what Rivas is doing in this project. This municipality is in the east of Spain, so next to the Mediterranean Sea, and if we follow to the right, we can see Italy. Then in this municipality there are 450,000 inhabitants with more than 800 square meters. So it's a very large municipality, and the energy consumption is about 40,000 megawatts hour in the year 2021. There are 106,000 luminaires and around 1,400 cabinets. Next, please. In this project, as Joseph has explained very well, there was an elaboration of Smart EPC standardized documentation for tendering and also for contracts. What we have done is to adapt this and translate, because it was everything in English, of course, this documentation to our context, to our country, to our regulations and laws. The idea or the scope is the replacement of more than 6,000 luminaires to LED technology with around energy savings of 1,000 megawatts hour. Also installation of 1,200 solar LED luminaires for some pedestrian and bike lanes. And about the systems, what we call innovative of smart systems, this installation of motion sensors, also traffic detection sensor and weather sensors. About electric vehicles charging points or lampposts, we are also analyzing if it is possible, because we think that we need the citizens are demanding highest peak electric vehicle charging stations, and for that I think we are waiting more, maybe a couple of years, that the technology is more advanced and we can use them. Okay. Also, management and remote control via cabinet with the 5G technology or optic fiber, and remote management and control at luminaire level via PLC to the cabinets. Thank you. Next one. Here you can see the different areas that we call zonas. So here is the center, the zone number 1, and other areas. And with these 5 areas, more than 6,500 luminaires will be replaced, and they are controlled by 87 cabinets. Next one, please. Also, there are other additional areas that we have identified. These are for what we call before bike lanes or pedestrian roads that are, I will say, in the south of the city, in different parts of the river. The idea for these bike lines and pedestrian paths is to install solar LEDs. Next one, please. Some activities that we have done were workshops with the different stakeholders. So we we invite manufacturers, ESCOs, electricity companies, other municipalities, etc. And they explain different possibilities, for instance, for this electric vehicle charging station, or for the sensors, for the Wi-Fi antennas, etc. Next one, please. We did an energy audit as part of the Smart EPC project. We started in September till February 2024. So we have a very updated inventory of the luminaires and the cabinets. Also, these are very good for the public lighting plans. Some lighting measures were also carried out. The analysis of the electricity billing, economic budget and feasibility study has been carried out, and also a plan for energy savings of the street lighting. So next steps, they are here in Spain. We have like 2 parts. What is called technical documentation, and another one is administrative documentation. So now the municipality is working with the different departments, like the lighting service department, the economy department, etc., to implement and all the Smart EPC standardized documentation in our technical and administrative documentation, in order to launch a tender for this project. And this will be completed about September 2025. So afterwards, the company can apply, and I think they can start the works in the beginning of 2026. So thank you very much. If there are any questions.
Thank you, Margherita. Thank you a
Thank you.
lot. Yes, please, if you have any questions for our speakers today. I just wanted to say that I've put all the Smart EPC tools here in the chat. I'll just add the link also to this Smart EPC website. So you can have a look here, and if you need any tools or any guidance, you can always contact our team. You will find all the references in the website. So if there are any questions, feel free to add them in the chat or just raise your hand. And thank you, Josip, for the interesting and insightful training on Smart EPC.
Thanks once again to everyone. Yeah, as Irene said, if you have any questions, feel free to contact us, reach to us. If you have any specifics on your project ideas, we again urge you to try to see and go to the Smart EPC project web pages, download these documents. They're free, they're extensive. I suppose you can use them in further on down the line, even if you're not planning to do any Smart EPC project now, for a year or later on, it will be useful to you. So just once again, thank you, everybody. If you have any questions, we are ready to step in and help you and answer all of your questions further down the line.
Okay, I may have...
We will also announce our final event, final conference in January, where you could meet us live if you want to, and you can ask any question live. You can meet physically with us. So this is one more subject we will announce after this breakout session in this conclusion part.
Yes, you anticipated me. I just wanted to say that we will have this event with the Covenant of Mayors and the Smart EPC the Smart Cities Marketplace, the 21st of January. Mariangela will present you a slide when we're back in the main room. So don't hesitate and ask for info if you need, or register as soon as possible to secure your spot. It will be one day in Brussels, in Comet Louise. The venue is Comet Louise, so near the city center, a really nice place actually. And we are going to dive into the Smart EPC and many other interesting topics. So I'll just wait for Mariangela to present this to you once we are back in the main room. And that will mark the end of the Smart EPC project. So maybe we will have a next one.
Yeah.
Who knows? Stay tuned. Okay, I think we will be back in 2 minutes in the main room. So I just wanted to ask Margherita just a quick question. Okay, so Mariangela said 2 minutes. What was one of the major challenges in applying the EPC tools and the EPC methodology in Murcia?
Okay, I can speak as general, but I think they are very happy because they have, I start since the beginning, they have this energy audit with all the data, because they have like different small or big Excel files, some database And now everything, all the information is concentrated. And for these projects with so many data, it's very important to have everything in one file. So this is for me one of the things that we appreciate with this Smart EPC. One part, the data, and the second part about the documentation. Also, it's a help in order to consider not only the